Here is a single whooping crane, in stature the largest North American bird. It was fostered among sandhill cranes in the hope of founding a population that didn't make the dangerous 1,800-mile migration from Saskatchewan to coastal Texas. That effort was not successful, but it was part of a massive international undertaking to bring the whooping crane back from the edge of extinction. And that effort, for now, holds promise. There was a time when we Americans shot nearly everything that moved. It was a 19th century way of expressing manliness and civic virtue. It was also a national attitude reflected, for example, in the stated United States government policy of exterminating the bison, the better to starve and exterminate the Native Americans. Theodore Roosevelt, a noted conservationist, feared the bison would go extinct before he could shoot one to display above his fireplace. He succeeded. The massive, conspicuous whooping crane did not escape these enthusiasms, and by the 1950s there were only 14 left. Awakening to the appalling behavior toward our national endowment, Congress passed the Endangered Species Act in 1973, and subsequent laws and budgets have fielded an effort to right historic wrongs. Much of the national penance focused on the whooping crane, and today there are about 600 in wild and captive breeding flocks. We might call that a success story, and it is, especially from the standpoint of our national attitude toward fellow creatures and humans. Supposedly, we no longer pursue casual genocide against humans, animals, and birds, although our societal history on the subject is grotesque and rarely mentioned. We have about 600 whooping cranes today, and we are paying approximately $100,000 for each individual we add. A crude reckoning suggests that we have invested perhaps $1 billion to avoid the shame of exterminating this regal bird. A trifling restitution, but a cost we might have avoided with an attitude adjustment a century ago. The question comes to mind, if the whooping crane ultimately survives, or doesn't, how might those unborn think of us a century from now?